Hey, welcome back to Lantern Gear number 9. Starting off this Lantern Gear with the Lantern Gear 9 Hunt. Who we've got going out? We've got Hans, who does have a bone axe and rawhide armor. We also have our Twilight Sword character, Gaston, who has a dagger. He has the Twilight Sword specialization, so we're going to try to get a hit with the Twilight Sword and then move on to the dagger. But he's got to survive the hunt first. We do have Anna, who's got a bone sword. She does have leader. She does have Order of Death and Quixotic. And over here we've got Ariel, who's got the King Spear. She's almost got a full set of rawhide leather, but she is all kinds of messed up. She's got Controlophobia, Prima Donna, and Honorable. She does have the spear specialization, so maybe that'll help out. But let's get through the hunt phase first, and if we can survive this, we can move on to the showdown phase. So we'll go ahead and make the event revealer. Oh, do we have sickle? We do have sickle, meaning that we can use this at any time to do herb gathering. So we'll do it here unless the antelope moves back, and then we'll move herb gathering and do it later. For monster controller, we'll start off with Hans, and Hans will move forward and reveal our first location. Grazing fields. Acanthus leaves sprout from the crevices in the stone ground. The survivors spend time gathering and eating the small leaves. Each survivor may heal one location of their choice, restoring all injury levels and armor points. If any survivor has sickle, they gain a fresh acanthus strange resource. So, let me straighten that out. Okay, so we do get a fresh acanthus strange resource, thanks to this card. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust real quick. There we go. Okay, so let me get that fresh acanthus strange resource. And here we have it. So we'll put that on Hans. And roll a random hunt event. So let's go ahead and do that. Get our 2 dice out, and we'll do red first. So is it 11? So let's find out what hunt event that is. Okay, event 11. Monster droppings. The survivors find some monster droppings, like those of their quarry. The event revealer chooses to investigate or consume the droppings. Choose only one. Really? So unless Hans has binge eating, he can decide. He needs one understanding. So an understanding on the hunt will give him explore, which is not too bad. If he just investigates, or if he eats it, he could get +1 speed, +1 strength token. That's the best that can happen. I think investigate. What's the best that can happen? We ambush the quarry. Okay. 1 through 3 is bad on investigate. So he's going to go ahead and investigate. So the survivors find some monster droppings like those of their quarry. The event revealer chooses to investigate or consume. If the event revealer investigates, gain +1 understanding and roll a d10. So he does get to insight. So let's turn to that first. He's got 3 understandings. That fills in the box. So insight during the hunt, he's explore. When you roll on the investigate table, add +2 to your result. Awesome. And he gets to roll a d10. It's an 8. Gain +1 permanent accuracy. Great for Hans. And now, Event Revealer investigates. So we get to add +2 to this result. So that would be an 8. You know the droppings well. You may skip the next hunt space. If this move brings the showdown, if it brings us to the showdown, the survivors ambush their quarry. No, but we will skip this hunt space, and we will jump into herb gathering. So we'll go right to herb gathering. So the survivors consume herbs and berries. All survivors gain +1 survival. Don't need to. Everybody's at the max survival. So we will just do the herb gathering hunt event. To make a gathering roll, a survivor nominates any number of d10s and rolls them. If 2 or more results are the same, score 0. Otherwise, add it. And then we consult the chart. So let's go ahead and start off bold. So Hans is going to roll 4 dice. 10, 9, 8, and 5. So that's 19, 27, 32. We'll roll 4 dice with Gaston. 32, 33, 48, 54 already. So we'll drop down to 3 dice. So 54. Double 10s. 54, and we'll roll 4 dice. 54, double 2s. Okay, so 54. Gain 2 fresh acanthus strange resources. If the settlement has cooking, gain 1 random vermin resource. And all survivors gain +3 survival. So we get 2 more fresh acanthus. And I don't believe we have cooking. We do not. So let me grab 2 more fresh acanthus. Bear with me while I look through this strange resource deck. So there's 1. And there's a second one. So we have 3 fresh acanthus. We're going to give 1 to Gaston, and we're going to give 1 to... We'll give 1 to Ariel. So that worked out well for herb gathering. Now that that is done, we will have Gaston reveal this location. Teething. The survivors find a trail of large rotting teeth littering the ground. Each survivor may scavenge. Roll a d10 on the table. Okay, and we have a chance to get a large flat tooth or an event damage to the arms. So everybody's going to do it except for Ariel, because Ariel does not have armor on the arms. She's our character that has leather on every location, except for we didn't have enough to get leather for her arms. So she's going to be the one that doesn't. Everyone else is going to go ahead and scavenge. So let's start off with Hans. Hans gets a 7. You find nothing. Okay. Let's go ahead and do Gaston. 9. Gain a large flat tooth. Okay. So large flat tooth says, when you gain this, a survivor of your choice gains an insanity. So let's look around and see who needs it. Gaston's got 4, so now Gaston has 5. Ariel has 7. Anna has 5. Hans has 7. But we do get a resource, so we'll put that off to the side. And lastly, we'll have Anna, and that's a 7. She finds nothing. Okay, so we've made it to the Screaming Antelope. That was pretty quick for a hunt phase. Let me go ahead and get set up for the showdown. I'll be right back. Okay, I've set up the showdown now with the Screaming Antelope. Because we have Red Fist on Ariel, she has given everybody a +1 strength token, which they can use as survival. Because Anna had Quixotic, she had the +1 strength token from departing the settlement. She has Order of Death and Leader. Ariel has Red Fist, as I said before. She also has Defender, which means that if there's somebody beside her that gets knocked down, she also gets knocked down. Is that what it is? Oh no. If an adjacent survivor gets knocked down, you may spend a survival. If you do, they stand up and gain a +1 survival from your words of encouragement. Okay. And then Rhythm Chaser, which she's got a +1 evasion token. She also has Controlophobia Prima Donna, which means she has to go first. Controlophobia is double damage whenever she's the monster controller. And Honorable, she can't attack from the blind spot or attack the monster when he's knocked down. Gaston has Tunnel Vision, meaning that when he spends activation, he has to activate a weapon. Extra Sense, meaning he can dodge an extra time each round. And I think that sums up all the disorders and the fighting arts we have. We do have Dead Monster in play, so you have to set it by the monster. And the survivors can start anywhere they want, and they can go first. We also drew a giant stone face. Just blocks line of sight for us. We don't have any ranged weapons other than bone darts. And we have the Acanthus and the bug trap that we start with. So, with that being said, we do have Ariel, who is our spear. And she has to go first because she has Prima Donna. It is a level 1 Screaming Antelope, so it's got 11 wounds, 10 AI cards, plus its 1 basic AI card. So we're going to go ahead and start, and again, we get to go first. So excellent. So Ariel being the Prima Donna, she's going to have to go first, and we'll make we'll make Anna the monster controller, so that Ariel is the last one to be the monster controller. Because, again, she has Controlophobia, meaning she takes double damage whenever she is the monster controller. So we'll have her go first. She's going to attack with the King Spear, which is a 6+. She doesn't have any accuracy bonuses. So yeah. So a 6+ to hit the Screaming Antelope. That is a 10 and a 6. So it's 2 hits to these 2 locations. So we have the Giant Mouth, which has a reflex action. And we have the Giant Tongue, which is a -2 to wound the location. So we'll go ahead and do the Giant Tongue since it's a -2 toughness. She has a Strength 2, plus a Strength token, that's 3, plus the Strength of the Spear, which is 3, that's 6. And the Screaming Antelope, I believe, only has an 8 toughness. For level 1, that is correct. So at this point, she needs anything but a 1 to wound the Giant Tongue. That is a 7. So that does wound. So here is the AI wound. And we've got a reaction. Wound. Blood and spittle erupt from the Screaming Antelope's wounded undermaw. If the wound result is even, suffer a brain damage. If the wound result is odd, gain an insanity. It was odd. So we will gain 1 insanity. I did roll a 7. So Ariel gains an insanity and is up to 8. And she will get a weapon proficiency. I'll circle that for wounding with the spear. The next one's going to be the Giant Mouth. It is a Strength 3 weapon, 4/5 for her strength, 6 for the token. So again, she needs anything but a 1. That is a 5, so that is another wound on the Screaming Antelope. Reflex. If attacking with a melee weapon and the wound result is a 1 or 2, the monster consumes the weapon. It was not. So that can be the end of her turn. I think we're going to go ahead and go to the next person. And she'll just stay where she is at this point. Let's go ahead and do the Twilight Sword. So Gaston's got the Twilight Sword. It is slow. It is cursed, cumbersome, sentient, irreplaceable. Gains devastating 2 when fighting the Watcher. The accuracy is 9 minus the Twilight Sword proficiency level, which is 0 right now. So it is an accuracy of 9. He has a +1 accuracy, so it's an 8 to wound, or to hit. So he needs an 8 to hit with the Twilight Sword. That is a miss. So he is going to surge. And again, he needs an 8. That is also a miss. Yeah, that's about all he can do. We're going to go ahead and use Hans, who's got the axe. So it's a 6. It is a 5 because he's in a blind spot, and he has +1 accuracy. So 6, 5, 4. A 4 to hit the Screaming Antelope. That is 2 hits on the Screaming Antelope. The 2 hits are the Restless Hoof and the Restless Rump. This one is a failure result, which kicks his weapon out of his hand, and this one makes him move forward in a straight line, cancel all hits now out of range. So we'll go ahead and do the Restless Hoof first. It is a strength 3 weapon. He's got 2 plus the token, that's 6. He needs anything but 1 to wound. That is a crit. Gain 1 Screaming Antelope resource. Okay, that's excellent. Whoops. So here's the resource. It's the bladder. Okay. And persistent injury, destroyed hoof. The Screaming Antelope's hoof is ruined. Affects some AI cards. So we'll put that out here so we can remember that. And the axe is Savage. So Savage rule says, once per attack, if you critically wound, cause an additional wound. So that is 2 wounds on the Screaming Antelope. And here his second location, which is the Restless Rump. That is a 5, so that is a wound. Okay, and then a reflex. Turn the monster to face away from the attacker and full move forward in a straight line. Cancel all hits, now out of range. So we're going to go ahead and have Anna, who's got a full rawhide set. Oh, do we not have dash? We don't have dash. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got a movement of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he'll land on Anna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and collide with her. And Trample states, when the monster collides with the survivor, they suffer damage equal to the monster's level to a random hit location. So, yes, we actually did the Restless Rump. And now she's going to take 1 damage to the waist. Not a big deal. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I do these things while I'm on camera. It was the axe person that attacked. So she did hit, and the antelope's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that way. So it doesn't hit anybody. So that's good. Okay. So the Twilight Sword's done, the axe is done, the spear is done. Now we have Anna. So she's going to go ahead and look at the bug trap or the bug patch. Roll a d10 to scavenge. She will. That is a 2. You catch nothing, but it doesn't say archive the terrain. So she's going to go ahead and surge. Let's see if she keeps it. She does. And she's going to search again. So a 7. Gain 1 random vermin resource and archive the terrain. Okay. So 1 random vermin resource. And let's see what we grab. The Nightmare Tick. So we can consume this. 1 through 3 we die. 4 through 5 is nothing. A 6 plus is a permanent evasion. So she's just going to hold on to that tick. And I think we'll be done with our turn at that point. So the monster controller goes over to Hans, and we'll draw the first AI card here. So the antelope's first turn is Ravenous. Closest survivor, consumable gear in range. So that would be Ariel. And Ariel has dried acanthus in her gear grit and monster grease. So it will target Ariel. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll turn it that way. Move and attack. It's 1 speed. It's a 2+ to hit her. 2+, 3+, 4+, 5+. Because she does have a +1 evasion token from Rhythm Chaser. That's 1, 2, 3. So 2+, 3+, 4+, 5+. It's going to be a 5+ to hit her. That does hit, and so she's going to dodge. And she'll just lose that survival. And that is the end of the Screaming Antelope's turn. Level 1 is not going to do anything other than do the attack. Because it's not diabolical, so all it does is do the AI card. Alright, so it is our turn. And let's see. Let's do the Twilight Sword again. So we'll move 1 over. And the Twilight Sword needs a 8, 9, 8, 7. 9, 8, 7 to hit the Screaming Antelope. The 5, I'll surge. So down to 2 survival. Needing a 7. Miss again. And oh, Ariel was supposed to go first because she had Prima Donna. So she's going to search the acanthus. That's a 7. Find something tasty and consume it. If you do, gain a survival. So back up to 4. She will search. She will surge and use that survival. So down to 3. And search the other acanthus plant. 9. So 9 says gain a fresh acanthus. So that's excellent. So she now has 2 fresh acanthus. And now she's going to move. We'll move her over here. The Twilight Sword would have gone next. And now we will go ahead and have Anna attack. She'll move up 5 and do her attacks with her Bone Blade. So 2 attacks needing a 6+ to hit. 2 misses. She'll surge. And she'll lose that survival. And attack again, needing 6s. 1 hit. That location is the Restless Shank. Let's see if she wounds. That is a 9. She doesn't have any luck tokens. So it's just a wound. And there is a wound reaction on this card. Roll a d10 for each survivor currently in the monster's blind spot. On a result of 3+, they are brutally back-kicked and suffer 3 damage to a random hit location. That would be our Twilight Sword person. So it's got to be a 3+. It is a reaction, so she's going to use, or Gaston's going to use a survival, and oh, I can't because I don't have dash. I guess she's just going to take this. Alright, so on a 3+, they are brutally back-kicked and suffer 3 damage. That's a 4. Suffer 3 damage to a random hit location. So that hit location is going to be the body. So that would go right to heavy. So we're going to go ahead and use our Dried Acanthus. When you suffer a severe injury, ignore it and archive this card. Well, let's find out what the roll is on the body. Because if it's a 10, I might as well take it. If it's some kind of severe injury that's going to permanently hurt this person, we'll skip it. So let's see. A 9. Collapsed lung. You can't catch your breath. Gain a -1 movement token and a bleeding token. So we'll take that. And knockback 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because it was filled in the box on body, he drops. Okay. So -1 movement token and a bleeding token. Okay, we'll accept that. Now we've got Hans. Hans is going to search the acanthus, and that's a 10. So it's another acanthus for him. We'll just mark it so we can move on. And he's going to move. And then we'll surge, which he loses that survival. And we'll attack. So 2 attacks with the axe. It's a 6+, 5+. 5+ to hit him. 2 hits on the Screaming Antelope. Delicate Inverted Knee, which has no negative. And Palate, which has a negative reaction for failure. So we'll do the Delicate Inverted Knee. It's a strength 3. He's got 2 strength plus a token. That's 6, so it's anything but a 1. That is a 9. No luck on these characters, so it's just a wound. And we'll do that again. So anything but a 1. 7. It's another wound. So we have attacked, did acanthus and moved, grabbed acanthus and attacked, and the Twilight Sword missed twice. So our turn is done. The monster controller ends up being Gaston, who's over here knocked down. And the AI card is Crush and Devour. Closest threat in the field of view, in range. That could be Gaston or it could be Anna. They both look full up except for, or it could be Hans or Anna. It doesn't really matter. We're going to go ahead and make it Hans. So it's 2 attacks. It's a 2+ to hit, 2+, 3+ because of the evasion token. So 3+ to hit. That's 1 hit. And we don't want to be gobbled up, so we're going to dodge that. And he keeps it. So still has 3 survival. And that is the end of the Screaming Antelope's turn. We'll shuffle the AI cards. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use Leader. I guess it doesn't really matter. We're going to use Leader by Ariel to encourage Gaston to stand up. She does not keep it. She's down to 2 survival. He does get a +1 speed token. Which will not really matter until the end of the round. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. He won't be able to get to the antelope. He has a -1 movement token, so 1, 2, 3, 4. But he can at least search that acanthus, so that's what he'll do. He finds nothing. I really want the Twilight Sword to get at least a proficiency level. So we're going to do crazy stuff and let the antelope live. We're going to go ahead and use Hans to search the dead monster. That's an 8. Gain 1 random resource from a monster resource deck of your choice. Archive this terrain. of my choice. A monster resource deck of my choice. So it could be the ones we've hunted, which is the White Lion. I think I'm going to grab a White Lion resource. Because this could be the Cat Eye or Sinew, both of which we actually need. So it ends up being the Testes. Don't really need that, but it does count as an organ. And archive this. And then Hans is going to move. We'll just move him 1. For Anna can't get a sword proficiency. She's only got 1 hunt experience. So she's going to move out of the way. 1, 2, 3. I forgot to do Prima Donna again. But all Ariel is going to do is search the Acanthus. So she'll search this Acanthus and find nothing. She'll surge. Yeah, she loses it because she doesn't have Rawhide set. And she'll search this one. And it is a 7. And she finds nothing. So we archive both of those. And, yeah, I don't think she'll do anything else. And now Anna will go 1, 2, 3, 4. Hide behind the giant stone face. But she's going to use her Rawhide Headman to take a look at these 2 AI cards. What do we want him to do next? Probably Ravenous, because it's only 1 attack. So we'll put Ravenous on the top. And our turn's done. So the monster controller is now Ariel. And the Screaming Antelope will do Ravenous. Closest survivor consumable gear. So that ends up being Gaston. So the Antelope will come up and attack Gaston. It's 1 attack. It's a 2+. Let's take a look. He's got 1 evasion, so it's a 3+ to hit Gaston. It's a 4. It's a hit. He's going to dodge that. So he only has 1 survival left. Oh my goodness. So he had -2 movement. So I forgot that. So when he got kicked back 5, he's actually down to 2 movement. So 1, 2. So the Antelope would have targeted him as the closest still. Yes. Yes. So we didn't lose out on anything. I just needed to move him back a little bit. So then we have our Twilight Sword person. Gaston has got to hit with this. He can move 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, just so we're on the side. And attack with a Twilight Sword. It's a 9, +1 accuracy. It's an 8, not in the blind spot, so it's an 8+ to hit the Screaming Antelope. Misses. He's going to go ahead and use his last survival. And misses again. Let's see how many times we can actually do this. Maybe we just won't get a proficiency for the Twilight Sword. We know what the next card is. It's 2 attacks. It's gobbled up. So I really do not want somebody to be gobbled up. So we're going to have Hans go around to the back. So he does have the axe, which is a 6+, 5+, 4+. 4+ to hit the Screaming Antelope. That is 2 hits. 2 locations. This one has no negative, and this one has a wound reaction. So we're going to go do Restless Ear. It is a 7. That is a wound. And we'll do Restless Chest. He needs anything but a 1. So that does wound. Turn the Screaming Antelope to face the attacker and full move forward in a straight line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and trample. When the monster collides with the survivor, they suffer damage equal to the monster's level. So he's going to suffer 1 damage to the body. So he's down to 1 armor on the body. And honestly, now we should probably just kill the antelope because Gaston can only move 2 at this point. It will take him forever to get to the screaming antelope. So we'll assume Prima Donna did nothing. And Anna's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 attacks with the bone blade. It's a 6+ to hit. That is 1 hit. The screaming antelope's massive eyes glisten with human-like fear. If the attacker is insane, cancel all hits and end their attack. Otherwise, the attacker suffers a brain damage. So attack is over. She will surge, and she does so. She will attack twice, needing a 6+. That's another hit. Super dense. That is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 strength. So, though it does kill the screaming antelope, this location is super dense. If the attacker hits this location with a frail weapon, it is damaged. Archive the weapon at the end of the attack. So she loses her bone blade. It gets archived. But the antelope is dead. So we were unable to actually damage with the Twilight Sword. So there is no proficiency for the Twilight Sword. That's too bad. But showdown with the Screaming Antelope. The aftermath, we get a hunt experience for everybody. So excellent. Gaston. Hans ages. Anna ages. And Ariel gets a hunt experience level. So for the 2 people that aged, we'll do Hans first. He is obviously going to choose Axe as weapon proficiency. And we get to roll 2d10 and consult the chart. It's a 13. He's going to get a random fighting art. We'll do that in a second. And Anna, she's going to choose sword for her weapon proficiency. And she gets to roll 2. It's a 6 and a 4. That's a 10. And that's a random fighting art. So both of them get a random fighting art. Let's go ahead and grab all the fighting arts that we can. Got them all. Mix these puppies into the fighting art deck. And we're going to pull Burning Focus. If you have 0 survival at the start of your act, gain a survival. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and pull one for Anna. Oops. And it will be Cross-Arm Block. So whenever you are hit, after hit locations are rolled, you may change 1 result to the arms location. Alright. We also get 1 weapon proficiency level, but only Ariel is going to get that. Because nobody else had a weapon proficiency at the time. We also... I forgot to do this during the hunt, but we get to draw a pattern card because we did get insight for Hans. So we have the Telleric Eye. We'll put that over here with our other patterns that we can make. And I've been doing this off camera, but since we actually had Anna kill the monster, she gets to roll a d10 and see if she gets a promo card. She does not. I haven't gotten one this entire campaign. Just a house rule of mine to introduce the promo. If I get a Lantern 10 for the person who killed the monster, they get a promo card at random. The first time Screaming Owl is defeated, gain the Stone Circle settlement location. When the monster is defeated, anybody with 20 plus insanity wanders off. That's nobody. The group gets the following: 4 basic, 4 Screaming Antelope resources. Alright, so here's the 4 Screaming Antelope resources. And this will be added to the resources we found during the hunt and stuff we got during the showdown. So we're going to get... that should not be in there. We're going to get a pelt, a shank bone, another pelt, and another shank bone. And we get 4 basic resources. And we're going to get Perfect Bone. That should not be in there. Just a second. More crazy stuff is going on where I've got cards where they should not belong. Okay. The Perfect Bone. A Monster Hide. A question mark. And a Lump of Fatness. So... that's our haul from coming back. We don't have anything that says after the showdown ends. So let me set up for the settlement phase, and I'll be right back with Lantern Year number 9 settlement phase. Okay, I've set up the settlement phase. Survivors return. So we went ahead and healed up Gaston, who was the only one who took any injuries. We get 7 endeavors, 4 for returning, and then we have 3 tinkerers, which would be everybody but Hans. And now we're going to update the timeline. So going to the timeline, we'll update Lantern Year 9. Looks like we're fighting the Kingsmen next for a special showdown. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and mix up the settlement events and see what happens when we return. Okay, let's roll a d10. And we will pull the 10th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to pull Murderer. Wonderful. Okay, someone in the settlement has been murdered. The survivor with the highest hunt experience is the victim. They are dead. The murderer, the survivor with the highest insanity, was caught in the act and is awaiting punishment. Select the table that corresponds to your settlements. So let's first decide who is the one with the most hunt experience. I have 7 for Belle. Belle has 7. Gaston has 8. Ariel has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So either Ariel or Gaston. Let's see. Ariel has 8 insanity. Is she the most insane? So Ariel is the most insane. She also has the most hunt experience, along with Gaston. So Ariel has Red Fist, which is super great, giving everyone a +1 strength token. I'm going to have to kill Gaston. So Gaston does have the Twilight Sword. Slow, cursed, cumbersome, sentient, irreplaceable. So let me look up the rule for irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. A gear special rule: if the survivor dies, archive all irreplaceable gear in their gear grid. So let's do that. We can always get the Twilight Sword again later. So Gaston is dead. Okay, so because he got killed during the settlement phase, we do get +1 for our principal. And select a table that corresponds with your settlement's society principle. Collective toil we do not have. Accept the darkness we do have. So let's go ahead and roll on the table for accept the darkness. It's an 8. The murderer becomes the undisputed boss of the settlement and gains +3 hunt experience. Holy cow. So Ariel's going to age again. Let's stop right there. And resolve this immediately. So Ariel ages the 3rd time. 2d10. It is a 17. Draw 2 random fighting arts and gain 1. Okay. So let's draw 2 fighting arts and decide which one she's going to get. So she can choose to either get Infinite Lives or Tumble. So Infinite Lives says you can't gain new memories. You cannot gain new fighting arts or disorders. When you would gain one, instead gain a new lifetime. Give yourself a new name and a once per lifetime reroll. Gain +1 survival for naming. Gain the reroll regardless of the principle, only once per lifetime reroll at a time. Or Tumble. Well, we're going to choose Infinite Lives. And we're going to replace Defender with it. So she now has Infinite Lives as her fighting art. Alright, so let's go on with the murder event. Each player selects 1 fighting art. Okay, so that was age. That was for +3 hunting experience. Each player selects 1 fighting art and 1 disorder. Okay. The murderer must take all of them, replacing any existing fighting arts or disorders. So we'll stop here, and it says you cannot gain new fighting arts or disorders. When you would gain one, instead gain a new lifetime. Give yourself a new name. So we're going to remove Ariel. And we're going to put in Lilo. Okay, let's change her name on here. She has started a new life. There was no Ariel, I guess. Lilo. What else does it say? New name and a once per lifetime reroll. So she gets to have a once per lifetime reroll. She already had one, but that's fine. She gets another one. And that's it. Okay. The murderer must take all of them, replacing any existing fighting arts or disorders they have. And that's the end of murder event. So with that event, we did lose Gaston and the Twilight Sword. I'm okay with that. And then we're going to move on. So we'll update the death count. So let's go ahead and do that. We did lose Gaston. So the death count is updated. And our population drops to 16. And Gaston is gone. He lasted for quite a while. He was one of our original 4 that fought the initial White Lion level 0. Okay. Check the milestone story events. There are none. Develop. So the first thing we're going to do is we did get a lump of Atnus. We're going to go ahead and store that. We have 4 lumps of Atnus. One more and we start getting free population. Hopefully we can draw another one. And the first thing we always do, we're going to innovate. So let's take one of these and we'll take a bone. Let's take a shank bone. Let's take the bladder. And let's take a pelt. Pelt or a monster hide. Just a regular. And we'll spend that. And we'll go ahead and innovate. So we'll grab 2 innovations and we'll choose one. So we could get Settlement Watch, which is not a bad one, or we can get Partnership. So Settlement Watch will, if you leave, you don't have a fighting art. Or if you have 0 strength, you'll get a strength. However, all of our survivors get a strength at this point. So Settlement Watch is great for fighting arts, but it's 1 through 7 you'll get a fighting art. It's a random roll. Partnership, when you both arrive, gain survival up to the survival limit if your partners both go out. Partners may only nominate each other for intimacy. And then we'll use the partnership inclusion. So we could choose Enduring Legacy. Children partners may inherit 1 point of a positive attribute and 1 fighting art from among their parents. You can only have 3+ children with those partners. Or Devoted Union, they can do a combined attack when they go out. And they can draw all the wound locations together and decide who's going to draw what. So we're going to go ahead and take Partnership. And we're going to do Enduring Legacy. It does cost 2... endeavors to partner up people. But we'll choose that. It doesn't grow the innovation deck any further. And let's mark that down on the settlement sheet. Partnership. Okay. Let's not forget, we can... We do not have scrap, do we? No. But we can make the brazen bat. So that will require 2 bones, a dried acanthus, and a scrap. Oh, we don't have scrap. So never mind with that. So we can't make any of these patterns yet until we get some scrap. We could... can we... No. I was thinking maybe we could scrap salvage, but... no. Okay. So what can we make? We could make the weapon crafter. That's 3 bone and a hide. That may be something we need to do. We do need to make leather armor. So that'll finish out the leather armor set. So let's go ahead and do that. Leather armor. We are missing the leather bracers, which is a leather and a hide. So we'll take the 2 hide we have. We'll use this to turn one of them into leather. And we'll do leather and hide and get the leather bracers. Because that will complete out our leather set. Leather bracers. So done with that. Now what do we have left that we can actually do? We have no more hide left other than a question mark, which can be turned into hide. We can make the barber surgeon. We can make the weapon crafter. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make the weapon crafter. So 3 bone and a hide. And I believe, a endeavor. That's correct. So an endeavor to make the weapon crafter. So we do have another location. But I don't think we have much of anything else. We have 4 fresh acanthus, which we need 5 fresh acanthus, which we need to turn into dried acanthus. So let me mark that down on the sheet. 5 dried acanthus. Done. A nightmare tick, which I don't think we're going to eat. It actually could kill somebody. So let's not eat this. Let's just mark it down. We have a nightmare tick. And now we have 1 organ, which is the lion testes. We have a bunch of other stuff here. A lot of bone. Tons of bone. I mean, that's like all we have. We have a perfect organ in there too. So we have 2 organs and tons. Actually, what is beefsteak? Is beefsteak an organ? Beefsteak is an organ. So we have 3 organ. We could actually build the barber surgeon. Do we have hide? We do not have hide. Okay, good thought. Not going to happen. Okay, so we have a bunch of bone. I think we're going to go ahead and make another bone sword. So let's make a bone sword because our bone sword got eaten by the antelope. So that'll take 1 bone off of our storage. We'll take the perfect bone, and we'll put lion testes in here. So that takes care of all of our resources. We still have 1, 2, 3, 5 endeavors. So we will go ahead and do shrine and do the armor ritual. We need a 4+. No. So that is departing survivors gain an insanity. So let's put that over here to remember that. And that's an endeavor. Let's see. We could partner up somebody, which I think we will. So let's go ahead and partner up a couple of our folks. Because when they have a baby, they get 1 point of a positive attribute and 1 fighting art from among their parents. So I think infinite lives would be great. I just don't want Lvl to die. She does have a once-in-a-lifetime reroll. And we do have infinite drift. So I'm going to pair up Lvl. So she's going to partner with I guess you can partner up with Hans. So partner Lvl. So that requires 2. So we have 2 more endeavors. So we might as well take advantage of the partnership right now. And let's go ahead and do augury. So by doing augury, we can increase somebody's understanding, or we could get a baby and then pass down those traits to somebody. So does somebody need an understanding to get to insight? Got a couple people with 1 understanding. 3, 4, 3. Okay, so we're going to choose one of these people. We're going to choose Belle. So Belle's going to augury. Okay, so that requires an endeavor, and we'll roll on the augury chart. That is a 5, so she's going to get a survival. And we'll augury again with the last endeavor we have. That is a 4, she gets another survival. So it didn't really help us out this settlement phase. And you make sure I've covered everything. Okay, I think I've covered everything during the settlement phase. So our next event is going to be Nemesis encounter with the Kingsman level 1. So yep, I'll see you in the next video. We'll label that Lantern Year 9.5, and it'll be the fight with the Kingsman. I don't know who we're going to take out at this point. Based upon the survivors we have, I'm thinking that we're going to take out 4 new people. So I'll generate 4 new sheets, and I will sacrifice them to the Kingsman. I mean, he's extremely difficult to beat. If we get lucky, we could possibly get King Step and then try to whittle his deck down. But I don't think with the survivors we have, one, I don't think I want to lose these survivors. Kingsman has like a toughness of 14, except in the blind spot where I think he's got a toughness of 10, I think. So that's very difficult. And he's also got, battle pressure cards. You got to get through 3 wounds unless you get King Step. You got to get through 3 wounds before you're actually doing wounds to him. So he's very difficult to fight. So I think I'm going to send out 4 nobodies. So appreciate you joining me on this one. And the next time, we'll see you with the Kingsman. Thanks.